Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Darren Holmes from Kaizen Mindset at the Wirral Wellness Centre in Birkenhead, Wirral. Kaizen Mindset is a men's over 30s physical, mental health and wellness platform. We are the blended approach to physical, mental health and wellness, where we utilise skills, drills, techniques from the routes to wellness, the dimensions of wellness, mental health first aid, mental health awareness, education about microbiome and nervous system regulation, cognitive behavioural therapy, neuro-linguistic programming. We have implementing partners who are acupuncturists, sports therapists, hypnotherapists, and more. Wanted to do a video this morning about capacity. So capacity and capacity building is something that I have become really engaged within. Hang on, I'm just going to count these magpies. Great, okay. I want to give you an idea of what I'm talking about with capacity. Say that you've just been on holiday for a fortnight. You've managed to have your feet up, you've been somewhere nice and sunny, you feel all nice and relaxed, and you've managed to discharge any of the mitre that has been ruminating around you for any period of time. You come home from holiday, you go out on the first day, and you have a bump in the car. So your capacity to deal with that stressor is probably going to be really sorry, whoever's fault it was, let's exchange insurance details and we'll go away and we'll get the situation resolved and we all live happily ever after. That's in the perfect world, and that's because you've got lots of capacity within yourself, within your nervous system, so you have been able to regulate your system during this stressful event. Now let's say that the same scenario, excuse me, Kai! Good girl. Let's say that the same scenario, so you haven't been on holiday for 6 months and you've got a stressful job, you've got a stressful life, you've got the kids to bring up, you've got the school run, you've got work, you've got preparation, meals, etc, and you're not doing anything in your day to build capacity. So you're not going to the gym, you're not doing any exercise, you're not getting any time out in nature. You're not talking about your problems either with professionals like myself or with friends and family. You're not educating yourself in any way, so you're not ticking any of the sort of dimensions of wellness for intellectual engagement or social capacity for mixing with others. You've probably got anxieties about the situation that are going on in your own life. Kai, come here. Oi! Kai! Excuse me. Kai! Right, where were we? So, you haven't had a holiday, you've got all of life stress going on, you're 6 months into a cycle of life, and you have a bump in the car. The other person who you've had the bump in the car with has also not had a holiday for 6 months. They've not got a great deal of capacity building going on in their day-to-day lives, so they're not doing anything physically or mentally to cope with their own stressors. And you've now got two people who both think that they were in the right, with very little capacity, banging their heads together and pointing fingers and screaming whose fault it was and who's going to pay for it. And in a worst case scenario, it gets into physical violence as well, because you both have a lack of capacity, your nervous systems are overwhelmed, and you've now decided to lock horns following a little bump. So having more capacity in your life is what gives you the ability to cope with the day-to-day stresses. So yes, you don't need to go away on a 2-week holiday to fully unwind and recharge yourself. It's wonderful. I can't wait for my next holiday. But if you can give yourself a 10-minute holiday every day by maybe doing something that one of my coaches calls white space. So if you can get to lunchtime every day, turn your phone off, turn the telly off, turn everything off, no matter what's going on around you, and then just sit with yourself for 10 minutes, do some breathing exercises, or maybe just a meditation of your own. So no noise, no music, no nothing, just 10 minutes of white space. That will give the ability, for instance, if you've got like a fizzy pop bottle going on inside you, that will give that pop bottle time to settle down. So build a little bit of capacity today if you can. Do something of a capacity building nature. It might be sitting in white space for 10 minutes on your own. It might be going to the gym or getting out for a run, go for a cup of coffee with a loved one or a friend. so you can talk about your problems, which is what we do when we meet up with our friends. Get yourself out in nature, have a walk in the park, play with the dog, go and eat a piece of cake. Just do something for yourself, something of a self-care nature. Self-care isn't selfish. If your stress bucket is overflowing because you're not doing anything of a capacity building nature, then it's going to overflow. Your emotions are going to be high and you're going to come out of it in a worse place than you actually got there, because you're going to lash out in some direction. It might be verbally, it might be physically, but it doesn't matter. Do something today to build your capacity. That's Darren Holmes from Kaizen Mindset UK. If you want ideas about capacity building, then please go to my website, which is www.kaizen-mindset.co.uk. There's about 35 pages there, and you'll get some tips and ideas, certainly if you look at the roots and dimensions of wellness. So Darren Holmes, Kaizen Mindset. Have a fantastic Friday, have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you all next week.